My beloved child, let this word sink deeply into your heart, like a drop of healing oil falling upon a place that was once dry. I have never begun anything in you, only to abandon it halfway. What I stirred up in you through love, I will continue to care for with faithfulness. What I planted in you through quiet seasons, I will cause to grow at the appointed time. You may look at yourself today and see only what is still lacking, the parts still unfinished, the habits still being corrected, the fears that sometimes return like evening shadows. But I see you in the fullness of your journey, not merely in one moment of weakness. I see the seed that is cracked open beneath the soil. I see the roots reaching deep, even though your eyes have not yet seen the tree rise. I see life moving in the places you thought were silent. Therefore, do not be quick to condemn yourself simply because you have not yet reached the destination. The path I lead you on is not a race toward rigid perfection, but a holy transformation, day by day, where you learn to open your heart so I may shape, heal, uphold, and bring to light what I placed within you from the beginning. There will be times when you feel small, as though no one hears your voice, as though your presence makes no difference, as though your quiet efforts disappear in a world that is too loud. But my child, your worth is not measured by how many people see you, nor is it decided by applause, praise, position, achievement, or human recognition. Those things may come and go. They may shine in the morning and fade by tomorrow. But the dignity I have placed within you is not as fragile as a leaf before the wind. You belong to me through a love rooted in eternity. You are not standing outside my house like a stranger waiting to be called in. You are not merely a servant standing far away and looking toward the banquet table. You are my beloved child, invited to draw near, to call me Father, to lean upon my mercy, and to receive the inheritance of life, peace, wisdom, and grace that I have prepared for those who belong to me. Remember that I do not love you with a hesitant love, giving you only a little and then requiring you to prove yourself worthy of the rest. My love is not like the love of the world, which often measures, compares, and withdraws when you fail to meet expectations. I love you when you are strong, and I still love you when you tremble. I love you when you walk rightly, and I still reach out my hand to lift you when you stumble. I love you on the day you can sing a song of thanksgiving, and I am also near on the day when all you can do is sigh. That love is the rock beneath your feet. Your emotions are not the rock, because emotions rise and fall. The opinions of others are not the rock, because human hearts shift like drifting clouds. Your success is not the rock, because success may come slowly or take on a different form. Your rock is my calling, my choosing, and my hand working within you with tireless patience. Look at David when he was still a young shepherd boy in the fields. When people searched for a king, human eyes often turned toward outward strength, height, and prominence before the crowd. But I looked into the hidden place that others could not see. David had days when no one called his name, days when there were only sheep, the wind of the fields, and hidden battles with lions and bears. Those years may have seemed small in the eyes of people, but in my hands, they were a school of courage, a place where one was trained before being entrusted with something greater. When oil was poured upon David's head, it was not the beginning of an easy life, but a sign that I had seen, chosen, and would continue to complete what I had begun in him. The same is true for you. Do not despise your wilderness seasons. Do not think that small tasks, unseen battles, and the times you are faithful in secret are meaningless. I am using them to form within you a depth that fame can never create. Sometimes I work in you through comfort, But sometimes I work through refinement. Sometimes I open a door quickly. But sometimes I let you wait so your heart may become steadier. Sometimes I encourage you through others. But sometimes I lead you into quiet places so you may learn to hear my voice without needing the confirmation of a crowd. Do not be afraid of that process. You are not being broken down to become smaller. You are being shaped so that what is truest, brightest, and holiest within you may be revealed. Like a potter who is patient with the clay in his hands, I do not throw you away simply because there are still places that are misshapen. I add water when you have become dry and hardened. I apply pressure when shaping is needed. I place you in the fire not to destroy you, but to make the vessel strong enough to hold the precious thing I desire to pour into it. Therefore, do not demand that you become someone who has already perfected everything immediately. True maturity is not never being weak again. It is learning to return to me more quickly each time weakness comes. Sanctification is not a motionless statue, but a river being cleansed, flowing toward the light, carrying new life through every bend. There are days when you move forward quickly, days when you only have enough strength to stand still, and days when you feel as though you have gone backward. Yet even when you do not realize it, I am still at work. I can use a small reminder, an encounter, a disappointment, a silence, or a moment when you are forced to be honest with yourself to draw you deeper into freedom. No detail is too small for me to use. No season is too dark for my light to enter. When you feel unimportant, remember that your true place is not given by the world. The world may rank you by productivity, beauty, voice, possessions, and your ability to please others. But in my house, you are called by love. You are allowed to draw near, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. You have the right to seek my wisdom. You have the right to bring your worries before me. You have the right to receive support, guidance, forgiveness, and restoration. Do not stand far away as though my tenderness is only for someone else. Do not pray like one who is unsure whether they are being heard. Come as a child, humble but not afraid, small but not worthless, in need of teaching but not despised. I know there are times when you find it hard to believe in yourself. There are failures that make you cautious, old words that make you withdraw, and years that cause you to wonder whether anything precious still remains within you. But my child, I do not lose faith in what I have created. I look beyond your present condition and see the original design and the purpose being restored. I see your capacity to love, even though it has been wounded. I see the wisdom that will grow from painful lessons. I see courage taking shape beneath the layer of fear. I see the light that has not gone out, even though you thought it had been reduced to embers. And I, by the breath of love, will cause that flame to rise again at the right time. So stop living as though you are an abandoned work. You are a work I am carefully tending. Stop seeing the unfinished places in you as evidence of failure. See them as places where grace is still at work. Stop comparing your process with someone else's journey, because I do not shape two people from the same mold. What I placed in you is unique. Your rhythm may be different. Your season of blooming may be different. But different does not mean lesser. Slow does not mean forgotten. Hidden does not mean unanointed. If I have begun a good work in you, I will faithfully bring it to completion in my time. My beloved child, as you enter a new season, do not begin with complaints about what is still lacking, and do not open your heart with fear of what remains unknown. Begin with worship. Let your lips first remember my greatness, not because I need you to make me greater, but because your heart needs to be brought back into its proper place before my light. When you exalt me, the things that once occupied your mind will gradually become smaller. When you look upon my holiness, the darkness within you will lose its power to magnify itself. When you call me Father, refuge, keeper, and source of unfailing strength, your mind begins to stop wandering in fear and returns to the rock of peace. You do not pray to inform me of something I do not know. You pray to remember that I already know all things, hold all things, and still love you with an unchanging love. Rise within your heart, even if your body may still feel weary. Lift your eyes, even if the circumstances before you have not yet opened a way. Speak to me with reverent love, saying that I am the one who created the heavens, laid the foundations of the earth, called light out of darkness, and still bends down to hear your very small cry. Tell me that you trust in me, not because everything has become easy, but because I am faithful even amid what is still unclear. Let worship become the key that opens the door within you, the door long locked by anxiety, doubt, and exhaustion. When you place me before your fear, fear no longer sits on the throne of your heart. When you place me before your needs, those needs no longer control you through pressure. When you place me before your future, the future no longer becomes a frightening land, but a place where I have already gone ahead to prepare for you. My child, worship is not only a sound lifted up in the moment when you feel joyful. Worship is the return of the whole heart. Sometimes you worship through a song, sometimes through tears, sometimes through silence filled with trust, and sometimes through a deep breath in the dark night when you choose not to let go of me. Do not think only fluent words are beautiful before me. I hear even the hesitant words. I understand even the sighs that have not yet become sentences. When you say that I reign over all things, your heart is released from the burden of having to control everything on its own. When you recognize that I am holy and just, you no longer have to live with the feeling that every injustice will remain unseen forever. When you confess that I am your refuge, you recover a peace the world cannot give, because the world promises peace only when circumstances are favorable. But I give peace even in the days when the answers are not yet complete. Remember Paul and Silas in the night of their imprisonment. Their feet were chained, their bodies were wounded, and around them were stone walls and darkness. If seen with natural eyes, that was a place with no reason left to sing. But in the depth of the night, they did not allow the prison to define the freedom within them. They lifted their voices in praise to me, and that worship not only raised their hearts above pain, but also shook the very place that held them captive. Doors opened, chain fell, and even the jailer was touched by my power. Do you see? True worship is not always born in easy circumstances. Often it is offered from the darkest place, and there it becomes evidence that my power is not limited by walls, chain, human judgment, or long nights that seem endless. Likewise, my beloved, when you worship while your heart still hurts, you are not pretending that everything is fine. You are declaring that I am still greater than what is not yet fine. When you praise while you have not yet seen a way, you are not denying your tears. You are placing those tears under my mercy. When you say that I am your refuge, you are not running away from life. You are choosing to stand within the protection of the one who knows every wind that is coming. There are battles within your heart that will not be quieted by more thinking, more calculating, or more worrying. They become quiet when you turn your heart toward me and allow the truth of who I am to become greater than the noise around you. Worship tunes the rhythm within you, like a string brought back to its proper note, so that your life no longer releases the trembling sound of fear, but the sound of faith. Do not enter the new season with hands tightly gripping anxiety. Enter with gratitude, because even though you have not yet seen all that I am doing, I am still at work. There are seeds already planted in secret. There are doors being prepared behind the veil. There are encounters, healings, answers, opportunities, and divine arrangements moving according to my timing. You do not need to force everything to happen the way you want in order to prove that I am with you. Worship first, and then you will learn to see your circumstances with eyes that are more peaceful. Exalt me first, and then you will no longer be so easily pulled down by the storm outside. Name my faithfulness first, and then you will remember that the one who kept you through yesterday will continue to keep you tomorrow. My child, when you praise me, I draw you out of the narrow room of self-pity and bring you into the wide space of hope. I lift you up, not so you can escape reality, but so you can see reality from a higher place. From below, you see only the problem blocking your way. In my presence, you begin to see that the problem is not greater than the one who holds your life. From below, you hear doubt saying that you will not make it through. In worship, you hear my voice, reminding you that you have been carried through many seasons before, and no season can cut you off from my mercy. From below, you see yourself as small. In me, you remember that you are loved, lifted, covered, and sent with purpose. Therefore, today begin your prayer with reverence. Tell me that you know I am the one beyond compare, powerful yet gentle, exalted above all creation, yet near to the trembling child. Let your heart bow down not because of fear, but because of love. Let your lips open not first to complain, but to proclaim that I am still Father, still the source of life, still the fortress, still the one who leads the way. From that place, present your needs to me. Tell me what worries you, what you long for, what you do not understand, and what needs healing. But do not give your worry the first place. Give that place to me, because when I am placed rightly in your heart, everything else begins to be restored to its proper order. I do not tell you to worship so you can cover your pain with beautiful words. I tell you to worship because in worship, you remember whose you are. You belong to the one who does not sleep through your cry. You belong to the one who is not confused by your future. You belong to the one who can make a heavy heart light again, make a tangled mind clearer, and help hesitant steps regain their steadiness. The peace I give is not like the fragile reward the world offers when you achieve something. The peace I give is a stream flowing from my presence. And when you draw near to me, that stream begins to soften the dry places within you. My beloved child, amid the days when the road of life becomes longer than your strength expected, amid the noise of the world that keeps pulling your heart in 100 directions, learn to pause in holy stillness. Do not be quick to let worry lead you running from one thought to another. Do not let what is before your eyes make you forget the hand that has kept you from the beginning. There are times when you feel small among the hurried crowds, as if your voice is swallowed by the demands of life, as if no one recognizes your presence, as if you must carry everything by yourself. But I want you to hear this deeply. Before the world knew your name, I knew you. Before you cried your first cry, I placed upon you the mark of love. Before your feet touched the earth, I saw the paths you would walk, the seasons you would overcome, the tears you would shed, and the days when you would rise again with new light in your heart. You are not an accident drifting through life. You were not created like a leaf blown aimlessly by the wind. Every small part of you, every breath, every ability, every unique trait, unlike anyone else's, is held in my care with a tenderness your mind cannot fully measure. When you were still covered in the hidden place, I carefully formed you like a wise craftsman, tracing every line upon a precious work. I did not overlook you for a single moment, I do not love you in a distant, general, or cold way. My love enters every detail of your life, even the things you think are too small for me to notice. If I know even the smallest things about you, how could I not know the burdens that keep you awake at night? If I have carried you through so many seasons you could not understand on your own, how could I remove my hand in this season? So, when the storm rises outside, do not quickly conclude that you are no longer protected. A storm may shake the doors, stir the waters, and make the voice of fear sound loud in your heart. But it has no power to erase the covenant of love I have placed upon you. There are days when you look around and it seems that others have more, move faster, and live more securely. Then your heart begins to ask why your portion seems to hold so many trials. But my child, do not use the outward appearance of others to judge my faithfulness toward you. I do not lead everyone at the same rhythm. I do not nourish every seed with the same season of rain. Some things I am building in you require time, depth, and quietness, so that the roots may hold firmly before the tree rises high. Look back over the years that have passed. How many times did you think you would not make it through? And yet today you are still standing here. How many doors seemed to close only to disappoint you? But later you realized they were protection. How many needs did you fear would not be met? And yet, in one way or another, I still opened a path. I do not always provide in the way you imagine, but I have never lacked wisdom in caring for you. Sometimes I send a helper at the right time. Sometimes I place a new idea within you. Sometimes I slow something down so that you may avoid harm. Sometimes I give you less than what you want, but enough for what you need that day, so that you may learn to rely not on your own storehouse, but on my faithfulness. Beloved, your concerns about food, clothing, work, position, tomorrow, and the necessities of life are not things I take lightly. I know you need nourishment, a place to rest, means to live, and stability to keep moving forward. I do not ask you to pretend those needs do not exist, but I do not want them to become the throne in your heart. When temporary things sit in the highest place, they begin to control you through fear. They make you forget that your life is not measured only by what you possess, not secured only by what you can control, and not meaningful only when every plan goes exactly as you desire. You were created for something greater than surviving day by day. You are called to a life of faith, gratitude, wisdom, love, and holy purpose. Remember the widow of Zarephath in the day of famine. She had only a small handful of flour and a little oil left, enough to prepare a final meal for herself and her son. If seen with natural eyes, that was the end of scarcity. If she had listened to the voice of fear, she had every right to close the door, hold tightly to her last portion, and wait for the worst to happen. But I sent the prophet Elijah, not to take her life from her, but to open a way she had never imagined. When she offered in obedience what seemed too little, I caused the jar of flour not to run dry, and the jug of oil not to fail throughout the season of hardship. Do you see? I do not need much to begin a blessing. I need only a heart willing to trust. What is in your hand may be small, but when placed in my hands, it is no longer limited by your fear. In the same way, do not despise the small portion you have today. A little strength remaining, a little hope not yet extinguished, a little faith that is trembling, a very quiet prayer, a hidden act of faithfulness. All of these can become the place where I begin something new. True prosperity is not only having more outwardly, but no longer being ruled inwardly by scarcity. It is when you know how to give thanks even in a season that is not yet abundant, how to work diligently without becoming enslaved to pressure, How to make plans without allowing those plans to become idols. How to receive blessing while keeping a humble heart. And how to lack something without losing peace. I want to give you a deeper sufficiency, enough faith not to panic, enough wisdom to discern, enough courage to keep walking, and enough gratitude to see grace in each day. When you turn your mind toward what is true, your heart will gradually be freed from the pull of what quickly passes away. This does not mean you neglect responsibility, nor does it mean you sit still and wait for everything to come on its own. On the contrary, the one who trusts me will live more awake, more diligent, and more discerning, because they act not out of panic, but out of peace. You will know how to do your part without forcing yourself to carry the part that belongs only to me. You will know how to care for your life without seeing material security as your only source of life. You will know how to seek opportunities without losing your dignity in order to seize what is not meant for you. You will know how to wait without allowing waiting to turn into despair. I want you to learn to see your daily needs through the light of faith. When you need bread, remember that I am the one who knows your hunger. When you need clothing, remember that I do not forget to cover you. When you need work, direction, or stability, come to me with trust. Then walk in the wisdom I give. Do not let thoughts of tomorrow eat away the peace of today. Tomorrow has its own graces, and today has enough grace for today. If you keep dragging the burdens of many days into one morning, your heart will grow weary. But if you learn to receive each day from my hand, you will see new strength given at the right time. My beloved child, I did not create you merely to bow your head before worry. I placed a noble image within you, and I placed within you the capacity to love, create, serve, and sow hope. You have a mission far beyond chasing temporary things. Whether your work is small or great, whether you are in a crowded place or in a very hidden corner, your life can still become a place where light passes through. When you live with gratitude, you make the room, you stand indifferent. When you choose faith instead of panic, you plant a seed of peace in the world. When you share from your little, you prove that true wealth begins with a heart that is not closed. Therefore, pause when your heart becomes too loud. Breathe slowly and remember that I have been with you since before the beginning of your life. Let that truth calm the waves in your mind. You are known, cared for, covered, and led. There is no gap in my love for you. There is no season of yours outside my sight. There is no need of yours too small for me to care about, and no trial too great for me to open a way through. Let faith within you sprout like a green shoot after rain. Let gratitude replace complaint. Let your worries become an invitation for you to draw closer to me. Then you will realize that in this ever-changing world, you do not live by the fragile security of temporary things, but in the steady arms of the one who loved you from the beginning and will love you to the end. My beloved child, I am the one who opens a way where your eyes see only a dead end. I am the one who can cause dry ground to bring forth life. I am the one who turns what seems delayed into the right time, turns confusing, bends into roads that lead to blessing, and turns what you once called disappointment into protection, full of wisdom. When you do not yet see a path, that does not mean there is no path. When you have not yet heard the answer, that does not mean I am silent. When you have not yet received what you desire, that does not mean I have refused you. Sometimes I am preparing something better. Sometimes I am preparing you so that you can receive without fear, hold without pride, and enter without losing peace. Let the season of waiting become a school of faith, not a prison of despair. In that season, I teach you to distinguish between what you want and what you truly need. I teach you to stop chasing every shining door so you may recognize which door carries my peace. I teach you that delay does not lessen the value of the promise, nor does it weaken my love for you. I teach you to ask questions while still honoring me, to cry while still hoping, to wait while still living, and to believe while not yet seeing. And when you learn this, you are no longer merely a person seeking a miracle. You become one who is transformed along the very journey toward the miracle. There are things I am doing in you that are no less important than what I will do for you. You want me to open doors, but I also want to make your steps steadier. You want me to give an answer, but I also want to make your ears more sensitive to my guidance. You want me to change the circumstances, but I also want to renew the way you see them. For if I only gave you what you asked for, without deepening the foundation within you, the blessing could become a burden. But when I have prepared you, what is given will come in the right place, in the right season, and in the right way. And you will know how to steward it with humility, gratitude, and clarity. So today, entrust to me what weighs upon your heart. Tell me about your worries, but do not allow worry to hold the highest place within you. Present your desires, but do not force those desires to become the measure of my love. Ask, but also rest. Believe that when you surrender, I do not abandon you. When you wait, I am not standing still. When you walk in darkness, my light is still guiding you step by step. There will be days when you only have enough strength to walk a short distance, but I will still be there. There will be days when you only have enough faith for today, and today's grace will be enough to carry you through that day. There will come a time when you look back and understand why I allowed you to wait. You will see that what seemed like delay actually kept you from moving at the wrong time. You will see that prayers not answered in the way you wanted were in fact transformed by me into something wiser. You will see that while you thought you were standing still, I was quietly building endurance, humility, discernment, and deep faith within you. And when what I have prepared opens before you, you will not only rejoice because you have received the blessing, you will realize that you yourself have also been renewed to step into that blessing. My child, keep your heart in peace. Your story does not end in this season of waiting. What you are going through is only one part of a greater song I am writing with love and faithfulness. Continue to pray. Continue to trust. Continue to do what is right. Continue to keep your heart pure. And continue walking toward the light, even while the road remains unclear. I am the one who began the good work in you, and I do not abandon my work unfinished. I will lead you through the place where there is no way. Light the stretch of road you have not yet seen. Revive the joy you thought had run dry, and cause you to understand that every moment you entrusted to me through tears has been kept in my eternal mercy.